July 21st, and it's 4 o'clock. So please call the roll.
Chairperson Wally Garza,
Here.
Vice Chair Ted Masiacos,
Present.
Alderman Jonathan Munoz,
Here.
Alderwoman Schweda Bade,
Here?
Alderman at Large Keith Larson,
Here.
5 present.
Okay. The first item is approval of the minutes for July 7, and the item is 25-0566. Can I have a motion for that?
So moved.
Motion made by Alderman Larson? No.
I was also not there at the
Who was the
meeting.
other one? You
Second.
second? Okay, Alderman Ted Masiacos second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion passed, 5-0. Okay, public comments?
No, we do not.
Okay. So the first item and only one in the agenda is 25-0575. It's a resolution authorizing the Director of Purchasing to enter in a 5-year agreement with the Mark 43 Inc. of New York, and ancillary vendors of cost of $4,020,267.64 for the purpose of obtaining a CAD RAM RMS system and developing interfaces required for system functionality.
Thank you, Alderwoman. Good afternoon. I'm Brian Handel, Administrative Services Commander for the Police Department. With me today is Assistant Chief Mike Kaufman from the Fire Department and Deputy CIO Jeff Anderson from the IT Department. Some of this may be familiar. Back in April, I gave an update on this project. We're now ready to present it to you for final approval. Our CAD RMS system is probably the most vital system for public safety, both for the police and fire. The CAD system is computer-aided dispatch. It's what our telecommunications center uses to dispatch and track calls for service for both the Aurora Police Department and fire departments, but also for the North Aurora Police Department, Fox Valley Park District Police Department. Police officers and firefighters use the CAD system. They use a mobile version that then receives those calls when they're dispatched. It has the notes, you know, what the caller said, what the dispatcher, what information they got, locations, mapping, that sort of thing. The records management system, or RMS, this is just the police department's records management system. The fire department has a separate one. They have to be kept separate because ours obviously has sensitive criminal justice info. The fire department's has sensitive medical info that we don't want to share between the two departments. But in addition to keeping all those records, the police department system is also used for writing the police reports. Our current system is Hexagon. We've been using them since 2015 when we signed the initial contract with them. We have paid, in addition to that initial $5 million purchase price for Hexagon back in 2015, there has been actually a total of $8 million spent on this system. So an additional $3 million over the last 10 years on maintenance contracts to fix stuff, upgrades, interfaces, that sort of things. Unfortunately, many of the features promised in that initial contract were never provided or did not function up to our standards. We did get some financial compensation for those missing or subpar systems, but obviously that leaves us in a bad spot where our officers, our firefighters' efficiencies is not where they should be. We have to use workarounds. IT has to develop stuff to work around, or we have to purchase other products to do workarounds for that. In addition to that, a few years ago, we had a survey on our records management system at the police department. 78% of the respondents were either very or somewhat dissatisfied with that current Hexagon RMS. 86 wanted to explore obtaining a new RMS, and 31% could not identify one single thing they liked about that current system. So again, officers have to use this daily for responding to calls, writing reports, and it's not something that they enjoy using. It's not making their job easier. So in 2023, the city enlisted Crow to conduct a gap analysis and needs assessment for our current CAD and RMS system. As part of that project, representatives from various units within the police, fire, and IT departments met. They reviewed documentation about the current system, and they conducted some market research, including involving other public safety agencies and other public sector technology trends to determine what recommendations they could make going forward with this in the future. we decided to go out to market. Now, another reason we went out to market is, and I'm sorry, I have to jump back a couple slides because I missed one of the big bolded sections, but this current hexagon system we use is at the end of its life. Right now, hexagon does not support our lowest level problems, issues, glitches, stuff like that. They will only fix the major problems. We've already had situations where they won't fix stuff for us, and we've had to live with that. We have been able to escalate a few for them to fix, but in the next year or two, they plan on phasing this system out completely because they have a new system that they want departments to purchase. So with that knowledge, we decided we should go out to market. If we're gonna get a new system anyways, we're already unhappy with Hexagon, why would we re-sign with them? Let's see what the market has to offer. So we created an RFP, police department, fire department, IT, and finance provided input into that RFP. We also used recommendations from that gap analysis and needs assessment that we conducted. These 10 companies all responded. Notably, Hexagon did not submit a response. We conducted initial demos with those 10 vendors in the summer of 2024. Those demos, again, were viewed by members of the police department, fire, and IT, and finance departments. Following those demos, we narrowed it down to those final 7 companies, 4 on CAD and 3 for RMS. We further did in-depth demos, longer demos for each of those 7 remaining vendors, and narrowed it down to these final 2 options. Option 1 was using the Tyler CAD and the Axon RMS, and option 2 was using Mark 43 for both CAD and RMS. We sent out an updated RFP asking for more specific pricing from those 2 options, since we now knew that, especially with the Tyler CAD one, those were 2 different companies that we were going to be seeking a system from, and Mark 43. What they came back was, as you see, the Mark 43 one was significantly cheaper. Those prices, though, you'll notice they're not the final price we're asking for. Some changes to the statement of work and the number of licenses for Mark 43 did increase the price a little bit. We then had each of those vendors, both Tyler and Tyler and Axon and Mark 43, conduct on-site labs where they came into the police department community room. They set up shop there for 3 days, 12 hours each day, and let anybody from the police department, let people from the fire department and IT come in, actually do hands-on guided demos on the system so that our officers, our records clerks, our dispatchers could get into the systems, poke around, see what they liked, see what they didn't like, ask questions that may be more specific to their units, whether they're an investigator or an evidence tech, that sort of thing. Following those demos, it was overwhelmingly, the preference was for Mark 43. At the same time those were going on, a select group from police, fire, and IT also did site visits to various agencies, both within Illinois and across the country, who use those, either the Tyler Axon combo or Mark 43. Again, feedback from those site visits overwhelmingly preferred Mark 43. So leadership met from the police department, fire department, IT, and voted on how we wanted to move forward. Mark 43 was unanimously the choice. Some of those higher level reasons are that seamless integration between the CAD and RMS is going to be very key. And Mark 43 could provide that, where the Axon Tyler being 2 separate companies, we had concerns about how good that integration would be. As maintenance and upgrades are released for Mark 43, it should be much simpler because, again, it's all under one company, whereas with Tyler and Axon, as one upgrades, it may break something in the integration with the other one. The Mark 43 has a very modern, user-friendly design that our employees enjoyed. And then, as I mentioned before, there was a significantly lower price with Mark 43. Just a little bit more about Mark 43. They are a company that is geared towards public safety. It's one of the differences with our current vendor, Hexagon. Hexagon has about 900 products for everything from construction to manufacturing to mining, and public safety is just a small sliver of their company, whereas for Mark 43, public safety is their company. And we are not alone with going for Mark 43. You can see a number of other large agencies across the country that have used them. In Illinois, they don't have a big footprint yet, but some of our neighbors here, the Fox Valley Park District, uses them and has been happy with them. North Aurora will be using them shortly, so they'll also benefit from this. You'll also notice some of the ones that just started with Mark 43 recently, Boston, Louisville, DC Metro, they also used to have Hexagon as their RMS supplier, and now they switched to Mark 43. New Orleans is another one that's been in the news that switched from Hexagon after a year to Mark 43. Now, in addition to the cost for Mark 43, there's a number of interfaces between the CAD and RMS systems and other software systems that we use. Some of them are listed down there. I won't go through all of them, but those interfaces are necessary for the systems to work properly. There's a cost to that. For the Mark 43 side, that cost is already included in the quote. Some of the other vendors do charge a cost for developing and maintaining those integrations. So we've asked for a 10% contingency on top of that. The average price for a interface development and maintenance is about $20,000. There's about 17 of them that we currently use. Multiplying that out, that comes just a little bit under that contingency that we asked for. And then finally, this project is fully funded. There are funds in IT's budget that they already had in there. We also are using ETSB funds, which are 911 surcharge funds, and asset forfeiture funds from the police department to make up the difference from what IT initially requested in those funds. And that's all I have. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Comment, questions? Yes?
Thank you, Chairwoman. Just a quick question. Have we used any other product from Mark 43 before, Jeff?
No, they
Just
are
public safety?
CAD RMS is
Okay.
what they do, so they don't have their own version.
Any
It's
other
not quite like
products?
Axon where they've got a whole suite of 25 different products and stuff.
Okay,
But no, we have not.
okay, thank you.
Yes?
Sorry.
Motion to approve.
I had a question.
Yeah.
Sorry. Fire department wise, I know you mentioned that the RMSs are separate. Is that coming up for any time soon for discussion, the RMS that the fire department's using?
Fire Assistant Chief Mike Kaufman. So we use ESO in our RMS, and it's per Southern Fox. Our medical system requires us to use ESO for our reporting.
Okay.
So we are kind of tied to them.
Understood.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
So you mentioned Melrose Park. Melrose Park is just new with the Mark 43, or that they already have some years?
Melrose Park, I'm not familiar with them using it. I know Berwyn uses it. Was Melrose Park one of the ones on there? Yeah, they haven't gone live yet. That's what the little asterisk means there next to their name. So we did reach out to Berwyn. We obviously work closely with the Fox Valley Park District, so we've been in contact with them. And then we also reached out to some other agencies nationally and actually visited them in person to see not only how do they like the current system, but how was the implementation process, how has their maintenance and their problem resolution been, because that's one of the difficulties we've had with our current system is some of the
And
maintenance.
these other municipalities, they also do for 5 years or 5
I'm sorry,
years?
I missed the start of the.
Oh, just started.
I missed the start of the question.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
I'm saying if the other municipalities you mentioned, so the contract they have it is also for 5 years?
I don't know how long
You
their
don't know?
contract is.
Okay. Yes?
Yeah, I have a question about the existing system we have with Hexagon. Looking through the different vendors that submitted bids, it looked like a lot of them are using cloud hosting. Some are hybrid. Is Hexagon cloud hosted, or is that locally hosted?
So our current system, I'll turn over to Deputy CIO Jeff Anderson for that one.
Thanks, Commander. Jeff Anderson, Deputy CIO. So our current system is on premise, and it's replicated at Fire Station 8. It's on primary is at the police station.
Okay, so with the cloud hosting, this will, I guess, the hosting costs will be a part of the contract, and
Yeah,
we won't have as much maintenance to do locally.
There will be a yet to be determined trickle down effect. If that's what you're asking, yeah, we should need less of a footprint in the data center at APD. If that's what you're asking. Is that-
Mhm.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So I already have a motion by Alderwoman Suera Bate.
Madam Chair?
You second?
I
Oh,
have
you
a
have a question,
yes.
okay, yeah.
Commander, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It's good to see you.
Thanks, you too.
Hey, real quick, I just want to understand a little bit. I'd like to look a little bit at the history when we're looking into the future as well here with this resolution. Don't have an issue with switching. Obviously, we want to switch based on the feedback that's been received. Are we sort of, I'll just say, are we stuck with a company like Hexagon when we approve something and it's a 5-year outlook or a 5-year outlook? If we're getting feedback that it's not a good program, we're stuck with it till we have an opportunity to.
So this was part of the research into switching, and a lot of it came to that gap analysis and needs assessment report,
Okay.
was talking to some of the people involved. A lot of them are retired, but there are still some that work with us who were involved in that purchase and then the implementation. A big part of it was we're spending a lot of money on that, and we're hesitant to move away from something like that. If we've expended so much capital on something, we want to try to make it work. We also want to make sure it's not just, sometimes, I don't want to speak badly about police officers, but sometimes we don't like the way things are and we don't like change. So we kind of don't like either way. So we want to make sure our officers given this a fair chance. Are they trained? Have they been trained properly? I didn't mention that, but in the survey I did ask, do you feel like you've got enough training on this system? And 70% said, yes, I feel like I've had enough training. It's not me, it's the system. So there was a couple years of trying to get under it, and at some point we decided this isn't working. But again, with the amount of money that had been put into it, I think there was some hesitation into switching too soon.
Yeah, yeah, that's part of the question. I mean, I know you inherited it. You're trying to work with what you inherited and trying to get this approved, and I give you credit for being here and trying to explain it to us. My thought is, if for some reason, if we find ourselves in the same situation where they're not providing a certain level of services like Hexagon was, and we find ourselves in that same loop, is there a way out, and making sure that we're aware of it and helping you get out of that out?
And that'd be a question, I think, more for the legal department on because we would have to break the contract at that point. And what would be the consequences, the penalties, under what circumstances could we break that contract? And I think we would have to determine, we could say, hey, you're not meeting the contract, and if they're saying they are, is it then gonna have to lead to a lawsuit and fight in court over it, which would cost more money. So there's always a way out, it just may not be pretty.
So when it doesn't work, is it a detriment to the level of service being provided to our residents?
Absolutely.
Okay. So if there's a detriment, I would say it wouldn't be a worry about what it's going to take. I mean,
And if it's not working, we will bring that up, to the IT department, to leadership, that, hey, we need to change. But again, that is a big step, and we want to make sure we've done everything we can to make sure we're using the system properly. We're trained our people properly on how to use it, and that it's not us that's the problem, and that it's the company.
I appreciate your candor, I really do.
I wish I could say there's a 100% perfect system out there, but we've looked at a lot of them. There is no perfect system, but we do feel this is the best one that's out there and available.
I just want to make sure the wherewithal is there with this new administration, the new leadership at the police department, that somebody's going to step up and bring it up.
They're the ones that allowed me to go through with this, and
Right.
as you can see, it's been a couple-year process, and they were both Chief Cross and now Chief Thomas were very supportive in making this shift, but they wanted to make sure that if we do this, we do it right. So that's why
Sure.
we took the time to make sure, as best we could, that we're doing it right.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'll make a second motion
Okay.
to approve, Madam Chair.
All right, there's a motion by Alderwoman Suera Bate, second Alderman Ted Misiacos. All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Okay, motion passed, 5-0. Thank you. Well, no other item in the agenda, so can I have a motion for adjourn? Motion adjourned by Alderwoman Suera Bate,
Second.
second Alderman Nunez. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion adjourned, R4. Oh, this one is 19. Thank you.